Today I am here with a special guest,
Yes.
my husband, Tommy. Say hello.
Hello, I'm Tommy.
Okay, today we are answering all your burning questions about the difference between EPIK and Hagwon.
Yeah.
And I brought Tommy today because he has a lot of experience, much experience in EPIK and Hagwon. So tell your experience.
I've taught with EPIK for 3 years, actually 3.5 years. I've taught with GEPIK for only 1 year, and now I'm currently teaching at a Hagwon. So coming up on about 9 months, almost a year now. And your experience?
I've just been teaching at the same academy for 3 years now. I plan on making an entire other video about my experience with that, so that's coming up as well. I think it's a good place to start about defining EPIK and then defining Hagwon.
Yeah.
So let's just get started with that. What is EPIK?
EPIK. Okay, so EPIK, it's run by the Korean government, so I guess technically it would be a government job, but you definitely do have a lot of benefits with EPIK. When you're teaching with EPIK, you're going to be teaching in public schools.
Like where?
So
where
EPIK, you can be, yeah.
Where do people usually get placed?
EPIK, you can be anywhere in Korea. GEPIK is strictly Gyeonggi-do, so that's talking around Seoul, around the metropolitan city of
Yeah.
Seoul.
So when you taught GEPIK, when Tommy taught GEPIK, he was in Anyang or Gwacheon area, which is like just right below Seoul. So he was still close enough to Seoul. I think I actually don't know a lot of EPIK teachers in Seoul because it's very like rare that you get placed here. Right?
Well, yeah, these days they're cutting Seoul EPIK teachers a lot now, so it's pretty hard to get a EPIK job. It's possible, but it's very hard to get an EPIK job in Seoul.
Alright, so what are Hagwons? So Hagwons are private academies. With my experience, I work for an academy, but that's actually a corporate company. So there's a lot of different academies. So I know that there's a lot of horror stories about different academies. So, and it's all mixed reviews, right? So just take my experience as another person's opinion. But the different types of academies you can teach at are kindergarten, and then the after school program, which is where I teach. So after school is usually for elementary or middle school, and then sometimes high school. But with my experience, I've only taught grades 3 to 9, which is elementary to middle school. First major difference of EPIK and Hagwon that people consider is the working hours.
Yeah.
So go ahead and tell them about your life when you were in EPIK.
So in this category, I probably prefer the Hagwon style because when we go, we were just teaching. But with EPIK, you're there 40 hours a week. So you're there like a typical 9 to 5. That's roughly what you're going to do, 8:40 to 4:40, something along those lines. But it's going to be 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. You don't work weekends, Saturdays and Sundays ever. But that is, obviously you're not teaching for 40 hours. Typically, from what I remember in my contract, I think we're contracted to teach 22 teaching hours a week, a max. So anything over that is overtime. Yeah. So I mean, that was good. So 22, it's not really a lot of classes, but it's a decent amount. So the rest of the hours, the 18 hours that you're not teaching, you are prepping for your class. It's 40 hours, teaching 22, and most of the time you'll have probably an after-school class, and these will be specialized. So I've taught like an art class with students before, and these ones will be mixed.
Okay, with my academy experience, I know again it's very different, but I have a pretty, well, Tommy works with me now, but we have a pretty chill, I would say, we have a pretty chill schedule. So we start at 4, we have 2 classes a day, max each instructor. However, we teach 3-hour classes. Imagine, kids are sitting there 3 hours. But anyway, we have 2 classes a day, max. So in total, you would only work, if you have a full day, 6 hours. And we are not required to come to work for prep time. Like everything that we prep is outside of our working hours. Like we don't have to come in. We only are counted working if we are teaching. So we do have like other extra things to do, but typically we won't exceed 27 teaching hours a week, and you don't really like need to come like before or after, unless you're scheduled for an extra thing to do. And sometimes we do have Saturdays. So 40 hours is the maximum teaching hours a week. But the Korean labor law is like 56 hours or something. 56 hours of like 56 hours of working, but we don't do that, so we don't follow that. Like for us to go to 40 hours, like,
it's impossible.
It's impossible for us. Like there's not enough things in our academy to like schedule you to like exceed 40 hours in 1 week. Yeah. So if you're teaching kindergarten, it's 9 to 5, right? It's like in the morning.
Yeah, typically.
Yeah, because they don't go to real school. And then the if you're like an after school program, then you do need to wait for the kids to get out of their regular school. So that's about like 2 o'clock or 3. So for ours, we start at 4 o'clock and we go all the way up to 10 p.m. So 10 p.m. is now the curfew. It's the law. You can't keep the children longer than 10 p.m. But yeah, that's still insane. Okay, so now we are going to talk about classes. So class materials in EPIK. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it's very different. So,
yes, very, very different.
So, geez, with public school, and then when I went to Hagwon, I was like, oh my gosh, these kids their ability is amazing. Because with public school, you're teaching by grade. In a class, you're going to have about 30 students, and that ability is going to range from some not barely knowing the alphabet to others who've lived abroad and they're basically fluent conversationally.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
They're all like mixed.
And then you have the whole spectrum in the middle. So what you have to do is cater a class to that type, or cater your material to that type of class that's so diverse. So it's like, where do you really teach? If you hit the middle, the lower kids probably won't get it, the higher kids will be bored, and so you just have to juggle with that. So in public school classes, they're just learning basic English. I'd say like conversation, like where is the marked? Go straight, take a right. But you also have to take into account that this is public school, so it's a free class. I would say they're not learning a whole lot of English in this class, but I do like it because they're getting exposure to a foreign teacher where a lot of them wouldn't have that chance, especially if they don't go to Hagwon.
Okay, let's talk about Hagwons. Yes.
Oh, it's so different.
My Hagwon is different. I know that also like where we work is different. I know that for sure. Like I know that we are like, let's just say like we're the more advanced because it's like a name brand academy, right? So it's more like people really like, they pay like our kids, they have like, they want to go somewhere in the future, or if not them,
or their parents want them to go somewhere in the
their
future.
Parents really want them, like they take English seriously, even though if the kids like resent it, like there's still some point of like using English in their lives. Like whereas in EPIK, I think like maybe the kids just like do it to do it. With academies, like obviously our academy is different, so don't quote me on like all academies are going to teach this way, but we teach TOEFL and TOEFL Junior, which is like it's like English as a foreign language, and this test is what they need to take. It's like the same test, like TOEFL test is like all multiple choice, essay writing, speaking, like that. This is a test that they need to take if they want to go to an international school, or even if they want to go to a school here in Korea that requires English proficiency. This is the score that they like take. We don't really have a lot of things to prep because everything is already made for us. Like we're in EPIK, like you kind of have like more freedom. Not to say that we don't have freedom, because definitely we can like alter some parts of the classes, but everything is already laid out for us, and it just goes like, we have 4 terms in a year and it just alternates. Let's talk about our students. We kind of talked about it in class material, but what were the students like in EPIK?
Definitely say elementary, they're pretty cute, energetic.
Oh, they're still cute.
Yeah.
They're still cute.
Yeah, I'd say teaching in elementary, I didn't really have too many problems with the students in regards to behavior and all that. But when you go to middle school, I think that's when they know if they like English or not. So that's when you're gonna see if they want to learn. So definitely, they're ability is different, and their willingness to learn is different from Hagwon, because when I'm teaching in Hagwon, I'm like, everybody wants to learn for the most part.
Yeah.
So this is public school, so if you're at a decent sized city, the classes will be about 25 to 30 students per class.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I've taught
It's a nightmare.
I've taught in rural schools where one of my schools were about 37 students in the whole school. So my fifth
Oh,
grade,
I thought 37 in the class.
No,
I'm
no,
like,
no.
oh my God.
In the total school. So
Yeah,
my
yeah,
fifth
yeah,
grade
yeah.
class only had 2 kids in it. Yeah.
I didn't even know that until like very recently, that like some schools in Korea like literally only have like less than 50 kids in their school.
Yeah.
For academies, well, also this is in Seoul, so we're like, there is a lot bigger, the classes, I think, or the academies anyway. So I think like in our academy we have like over 800 kids, like over 700 kids. So
Is that many?
yeah.
Yeah.
But we do have a lot more foreign teachers, so we will talk about that later. So
Yeah.
we do have a lot more
definitely
foreign
do.
teachers, so we are able to like split those classes. So we shouldn't teach any more than 15. Sometimes we do get more than 15, but that gets like crazy. It depends. So like he said, like elementary kids, like not really, you know, they're still kind of scared of you, and they're still kind of like, you know, like if you tell them off, they're still like, quiet down and like follow your instructions.
They'll listen more.
Yeah,
For sure.
and it's really nice to have like younger kids in higher level classes. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like
That's
fourth
pretty cool.
grade in like a high level. Oh, that's key. Like they can speak like perfect English. Not to say that like our kids don't speak perfect English. Most of them, like, so for my academy, you have to take a test, like a speaking and writing test, like if it your TOEFL efficiency, like if you don't meet those standards, you don't get to go, and it's pretty advanced. Like our lowest level, you have to like be able to make a presentation like at 3rd grade or 4th grade. So if you can't do that in English, like you don't pass. So our higher grades, so like 7 to 9, I would say the same thing. Kind of like they know that they don't want to be at the academy, so they're like always sleeping.
Granted,
like,
it's 7.
It's
Don't forget,
like-
it's 7 p.m.
It's literally 7
and
o'clock.
they've gone to school
Yeah,
at 8
all day.
a.m.
Yeah.
So they're running on what, 12, 13, 14 hours of
school.
studying.
Yeah, and they're like,
nonstop.
still they come to our academy in their uniform,
Yeah.
and we end at like 10 o'clock. Yeah, and then they still have to go home and do homework. Yeah, it's just really, it's an entire like culture of studying. The students in our academy definitely are a lot better disciplined, I would say.
Oh, yes.
Because like when I see kids get out of public schools, well, granted they're like out of school, but I think they are more disciplined or easier to discipline.
Well, yeah, because don't forget, they're paying. Their parents are paying
Right.
for this. So if they get in trouble, it goes directly to their parents. And I think that has more weight on them than, oh, your public school teacher got mad at you. You know, they're not paying for it, so.
So for EPIK, we didn't mention this earlier, but for EPIK you guys have a co-teacher.
Yeah, so with that, you're supposed to have a Korean teacher. That's going to be your co-teacher in the class with you. So it all depends. Some of my friends, they say they co-teach with their teachers, so they do half the lesson, the Korean teacher would do the other half. Every school I've been to for the last 4.5 years, and I've probably taught at, within those 4.5 years, probably at around 15 different schools. Every lesson, I'm doing the whole lesson, which I would prefer. So I would just do the whole lesson for about 40 minutes, and yeah.
For us, like, we don't have co-teachers. I'm not sure if like all academies do this, but the way that we're like supervised is through CCTV. At first it was strange. At first, like, I was pretty aware that it was always there, but now I'm just like, I use it to my advantage.
Yeah.
Like I feel better that it's there.
Yeah, first, because coming from public, so we don't have cameras in the classroom. So when I went to this Hagwon, and they record everything for a couple reasons. For I guess
it's mandated. That's
yeah.
part of like our like, I guess, like appeal to the parents. Maybe.
Yeah, and when I first got there, I thought it was very weird. It's like, oh, Big Brother's watching, I can't mess up. But I like it a lot more because if the kids are acting bad, I'm like writing the time. 20 minutes. We're gonna watch CCTV.
Write it.
About your behavior.
Or like if they're really bad, you just make them watch themselves. Like, look at me, look at what you're doing.
Yeah.
But I don't think all academies have CCTV.
I don't think they do either.
Yeah, I think it's just part of our academy, which is like, honestly, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
To have it in the classroom. So that is it for the first part of this video. I am going to post the second part of this video, but the same topic. We're going to talk about other things that we missed in this video.
You want to learn more about EPIK and Hagwon differences, watch the next video as well.
Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, share this video, and we will see you later. Annyeong!